Far, far away in a land untouched by time, there lived a curious little wolf named Wolfie. Wolfie wasn't like other wolves. While his pack loved to lounge in the forest's cozy shadows, Wolfie lived for the wind. He would race through the trees, chasing gusts of air that whispered secrets only he could hear. His friends fondly called him Wolfie of the Wind, for he seemed to know the language of rustling leaves and babbling brooks better than anyone else. One tranquil afternoon, as Wolfie lay beneath a towering oak tree, soaking in the rhythmic hum of nature, the wind brought him an unfamiliar sound. It wasn't the chatter of the squirrels or the babble of the nearby stream. No, it was softer, like a song, and it carried with it a message. If you long to uncover the world's greatest secrets, journey to the windy town. Wolfie jolted upright, his golden eyes wide with wonder. Windy town? What and where could that be? He looked around but saw only his peaceful forest bathed in sunlight and the wind swirling gently past him. The message had come out of nowhere, yet it felt like it belonged to him. The other animals gathered when Wolfie spoke of his discovery. They warned him not to leave the forest, fretting over dangers that lay beyond their safe haven. But Wolfie smiled and said, "Sometimes we need to step beyond what we know to find answers to the questions that fill our hearts." And with that, Wolfie began his journey, following the wind like a faithful guide. As he ran, the familiar forest gave way to a sprawling meadow painted with flowers of every hue imaginable. The scent of blossoms danced alongside him, and he almost forgot he was on an adventure. But then, high above, he heard the cheerful chirping of sparrows, their laughter drifting down to where Wolfie lay in the grass. "Little wolf," they chirped, "if it's Windy Town you seek, beware the mountains that move." Wolfie tilted his head in curiosity. "Mountains that move? What does that mean?" The sparrows offered no explanation, flitting away into the endless sky with songs trailing behind them as though to keep the mystery alive. Wolfie pressed on, the wind now pulling him toward a range of towering peaks. At first glance, the mountains seemed ordinary, majestic, immovable, but as he approached, the rocks began to shift. "Little wolf, to pass, you must answer, what is unseen but holds great power?" Wolfie paused, sitting on his haunches. He closed his eyes and listened. The wind tickled his fur, kissed the earth, and wrapped the world in its invisible embrace. And then he smiled.
The answer is the wind.
The mountain stopped moving, as if calmed. A hidden path emerged, leading Wolfie safely through to the other side. Beyond the mountains lay a serene lake, its surface so smooth it mirrored the sky above. "Are you searching for Windy Town? Windy Town awaits. But remember, courage and kindness will guide you there." The voice disappeared into the lake's stillness, leaving Wolfie more determined than ever. With a burst of energy, he ran, the wind his ever-present companion. The world around him began to shift. Flowers fell away, mountains sank into the horizon, and soon the scene opened into a breathtaking vision. Windy Town. Wolfie gasped. The houses shimmered like glass, transparent and graceful, allowing the wind to flow freely through every street and corner. The people welcomed Wolfie warmly, their smiles radiant, their voices carried on the breeze. Here, Wolfie learned that Windy Town thrived because its residents understood the power of collaboration and kindness. The wind wasn't just a force, it was a link, connecting lives and helping them work together in harmony. As Wolfie wandered the town, he spotted a small child struggling to plant a tree in rocky soil. He approached, offering to help. Together, their combined efforts soon brought success. The sapling stood proudly, its tender leaves trembling in the breeze. The townsfolk gathered to marvel. "Wolfie," they said, their voices like chimes, "you remind us of the true power of Windy Town. It's not just the wind, but how we work together that makes this place special." Wolfie stayed for several days, soaking in the lessons of Windy Town, and when the time came to leave, Wolfie thanked them all, vowing to take the wisdom he had gained back to the forest. When he finally returned home, his friends surrounded him eagerly, ready to hear stories of his adventure. Wolfie shared everything, the challenges, the wonders, and most importantly, the lessons.
Sometimes you must leave the familiar to discover new truths, and the greatest discoveries are meant to be shared.
And so the winds of curiosity carried Wolfie's tale far and wide, connecting hearts just as the wind connects the world.